Hey everybody, today what we got in store for you is what we call our diagonal forward or A-line. We did this in one length fashion already, but what we're going to now do is we're going to do it in a shifted graduated form. Now when we talk about graduation, it's different than one length. We said when we learn about our hair cutting, one length is the heaviest haircut of all. This haircut right now is one length on this model. What we're going to do though is we're going to shift this out of position and we're going to actually create some slight graduation. Now when we talk about shifted graduation, there's only three ways of creating graduation in a haircut. One is to add tension to the hair, that means pull on the hair. Two is to shift the hair or over direct the hair. And three is to actually project or pull away from the head or lift it up away from the head. Those are the three techniques. We're using only shifted here. We're going to stay at 0 degrees. So when we did the one length haircut, if you remember, we used the same sections that you see here on the board, but we're going to then shift the hair from the 0 or natural fall to shift it to the side. We're going to stay at 0 degrees, and then what we're going to do is we're going to switch one more thing like we did on the previous haircut you just did, and that is we're going to be using this overhand technique. So when we do this haircut, there's two differences from the previous haircut we did on your mannequin, and that is one, we're not going to 0, we're going to shift. Two, we're going to go from the underhand technique of the scissor stroke to the overhand technique. So those are the two changes that you're going to be doing while doing this haircut. Sectioning is going to be the same. We're going to go from the occipital bone to about a ½ inch above the nape or the corner of the nape here. Then we're going to go from the widest part of the head to the bottom of the ear. And then the next section is going to go from the bottom of the crown, okay, to the top of the ear. And again, parallel to our parts. Then from the center of the crown to the temple, and then from the front of the crown, which is right here, to the receding area. So I'm going to get started with that haircut for you, and as we work, if you have, when we work with this, we'll make sure that you are able to catch or capture all of these details when it comes to the sectioning and actual haircuts. So again, we always follow the same processes that we did when we did our hair cutting, our sectioning videos for you, and that is to comb the hair in a direction apart, sketch, touch, pinch, and separate. Now, I will catch this hair in my hand, lift it up and out of the way so that I can actually have a good view of my subsections here. As you can see, this is the design. So whenever you see a hair cutter using subsections, which again, I see a lot of times they don't use any subsectioning, you should be able to tell what type of line or design they're doing in this haircut just by seeing the sections that they're doing. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to be actually taking this haircut and I'm going to start doing the graduation in there by shifting the hair one side to the other. What you're going to see me do is I've got to make sure that that subsection right in the middle here, I got to make sure that that stays in the center. Why? Because this haircut's going to be shortest in the middle. And if I wind up accidentally going from one side to the other, that's going to look very awkward on that individual's back. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that that center section stays that way. Push our one side of our hair that we're not cutting away from ourselves. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to shift it all the way to the opposite side of this mannequin. We're not going to be taking a lot off, about a ½ inch, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to take this over to this side, keep our hand against the head, and now you could see the scissor stroke, and that's what we're going to be doing. Again, following. Here we go. About a ½ inch off, looking at that section, and we follow the same line that we did with the one length. I'm going to now take this out of the way here, and you're going to see me do the same thing on the opposite side. We're going to take this hair here, and I will take just a tiny little bit of that other side so I know where to cut to. We're going to bring it to the opposite side, see where we started our cutting, and again, I'm going to use the overhand technique here and take about a ½ inch off. Now, of course, we're always going to check our lines before we move on. Again, with a mannequin, it makes life nice and easy. We have that little bit of plastic here we could check on. And that brings us to the first section. Make sure that you have a good first section because remember, that's your guideline for the rest of this haircut. So we're going to now be bringing down our next sections. And I'm going to take it from the widest part of the head to the bottom of the ear. And that's our section, subsection number 2. Again, always following the procedure. Comb the hair in the direction of the part. Sketch, touch, pinch, and separate. Let that hair fall. Bring this hair up and out of your way. Take this side of the head out of the way. Make sure that your center section is always in the center. Push this hair to the side. We're going to shift it over to the opposite side. Again, making sure that my hand is against the skin here, right against that mannequin. Guess I really can't call it skin. Plastic. How's that? Here we go. Again, here's my guideline. Remember what we talked about when we were showing you how to find your guideline. We did a video on that as well. I'm going to comb the hair down. The comb is an extension of my arm. Turn the comb, teeth up to teeth down. Follow with your opposite hand. When it disappears right there at the base of the comb, stop your hand, and you should be in the perfect position to cut that hair on that middle finger. So again, here we go. Stop. When it disappears, stop. Always cutting toward yourself. Going to continue on the opposite side, and now I'm going to bring this to the opposite side, and we're going to bring it against the skin. Again, angling my fingers parallel to my parting, keeping my fingers parallel to that part. There's my guideline. Off it comes. Check your lengths, even though you should be right on. Always make sure your lengths are good. We're going into section number 3 now, and we're going to go in this section, we're going to go from the bottom of the crown to the top of the ear. So I'm going to take it right about there to the top of each ear. Twist that up and out of my way. Now we'll come over to the other side. Check my balance. Good. Split down the center. Push that out of the way. Here goes section number 3. Notice how I'm holding it like a ponytail to get it into the position I want. Again, combing that hair across to the other side, looking for that guideline, cutting toward yourself. Notice my body position. I'm not doing that just for the camera. What I'm doing is I want to step to the side. So here, I'm going to step, keep my body coming down this way. Shifting that hair, and there's my last part. Take this side, push it out of the way, press it against the head, keep it wet at all times. Here we go. Bring this side all the way to the other side. Here we go. There's my guideline. Right to the center. Bring this back. And there it is. So we're pretty much done with the sections here in the back. We're going to check our lengths one more time, and now what we're ready to do is we're going to combine these two, the front and the back, with one section from the back all the way to the front. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go from the center of the crown to the temple area, center of the crown where the spiral, where the natural hair grows out of every person. We're going to go from that center of that crown to the temple area. And on your mannequins, that is that point right at the very front hairline here, which is the temple area. We're going to just put this into a ponytail. And now what we're ready to do is move on to the other side. And we will then continue this line right into the front of our haircut. So there's no need to separate the front from the back when we're doing this design. Remember, this design line is coming all the way from the center of the back all the way to the very front. So what we're going to do is we're going to be more concerned with cutting and separating the center of this haircut in the back here than anything else. But we do not have to worry about separating the sides in any way. So here we go. Push this out of our way. Now we're going to come in. We're going to shift this hair. Notice how I put my palm of my hand down like this. And I'm going to take this across, and there's my guideline, ready to cut, overhand technique. Shift this hair back. Now, as I get to the side here, what you're going to see is you're going to see that we're going to run out of guideline. And what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you understand the line is going to just continue into the side. So I'm going to use my guideline here, and I'm going to just continue to line into my front. Same angle, same everything. Shifting that hair back away from the face. That's that one side done. And we're going to now go to the opposite side and do the same thing. Check your guideline. Make sure we're nice and even towards the front there before moving on. Looking good. So we're on section number 5. This is the last subsection of the haircut. And what we're going to do is we're going to go from the highest point of the head, or where the 4 basic sections meet. We're going to comb the hair in a direction apart, sketch, touch, pinch, and separate. Take that little triangle out just in that very front, and we're going to use that as our last subsection to drop it down and finish this haircut. So I'm going to clip this up out of our way, and what we'll do then after that is we're going to bring this last section down to finish this haircut. So, following the same procedure we've done throughout this haircut, this is going to be the next to last section. I'm going to wet her down. She's getting a little dry. Always work when you work them wet. It'll make it much easier for yourself. There is dry cutting or dry hair cutting where we do haircuts dry. Again, that's for more advanced techniques or more advanced hair cutters. And we want to make sure that if we're going to work wet, we work wet throughout. If we're going to work dry, we work dry throughout. Some hairdressers work wet to dry. That's how long it takes for them to do a haircut. They'll let it dry as they cut so they can see what's happening during their haircut. Again, these are all acceptable ways, and there is no right and wrong in haircutting. The reality is, if the client likes it, it's right. If the client doesn't like it, it's wrong. So, last subsection here, we're going to take this down. You're going to see me take this all the way across again, starting in the center of this haircut. Here's my guideline, nice and clean, bringing this back, making sure, notice how my comb is combing with the teeth up, bringing that hair down. Here, follow my comb, stop, there it is, take it off. Just bring that side back with me to the back. Again, nice straight lines, use your comb. Follow your comb. Here it is, ready to cut to the guideline. Last, here we go. And here we are. And that is the last part on that side. We'll bring the last section down in just a moment for you. Again, pushing this over to the side. Can't emphasize enough how you have to make sure that these two sides stay separate so that the shortest point is in the center back of that nape. Here we go, bringing that hair over to the other side, over to the other side. I don't want to see swinging combs. I want straight combs from the very top all the way across to the very bottom. Find your guide and cut it off. Continue bringing that through this side, back, straight lines with your hair. Find that guideline, take it off. Continue bringing this hair back. Find your guide, take it off. One last area here. Bring it back, follow that guide, and we're ready to drop the rest. So, here it goes, here it goes. Last section of this haircut. Not much is going to come off the back because, as you saw, that little triangle exists in the front of this haircut, but we still follow the same process. We want to make sure that this side is always separated from that side. We still want to check to see if anything comes over our line, so we'll just comb it back, see if anything's there. Here we go. Oh, just those little tiny couple right there. Continue through this haircut, bringing this hair back. There's a little more to cut right here. And then most of this hair will be in the front. And I'm going to get a nice clean line. There's that guideline. You could see it nicely right there. Here it goes. Last on this side. Done with this, come over to the other side. Push this out of the way. And we'll finish up for you guys on this side and wrap up this haircut. So here we go. We're bringing it over to this side. From the back, check to see if anything reaches. If nothing reaches, move on. Don't go chasing. Here we go. Look for your guideline. Again, notice my hand is still touching this mannequin. I do not pull this or lift it away in any way. It's right here, bringing it back. Look for your guideline. Palm to palm technique. Last section of this haircut. Bring it back. Here we go. And we are complete with our A-line bob, graduated bob, diagonal shifted bob, diagonal forward shifted bob, whatever you want to call it. Don't get hung up, guys, in terminology. Many different people call this haircut many different names. Just remember your classics. These are classic haircuts. This is a shifted graduation. That's what you want to make sure you're good at. You could apply that shifted graduation to all kinds of different designs that you're going to do in your future. But you got to know your foundation haircuts first. You got to be good at the basics first. Then you can become creative with the haircut techniques that you learn here. I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to blow it out now for you, show you the finished results, and we'll see you in a moment. Okay, everybody, so this is the finished result, and again, this is our diagonal forward shifted graduation. It's very similar to the one-length haircut, but it did create a little bit different in the actual feeling of the haircut. As you could see, we have more volume in this haircut now since it's not one length anymore, and what we see is we almost see like a triangular feeling coming out of this. So if I take my brush and just do this a little bit, you'll see how I can get more action out of this haircut rather than being a true one length. The key to graduated haircuts is that the underneath, the bottom, very, very bottom, is longer and it gets slightly shorter as we move up. Now remember that this particular haircut is just to show a little bit of graduation, so this is ever so slight amount of graduation, and what we're going to do during your progressive learning here at Capri is we're going to actually be building upon this. So the next haircut you're going to do is going to create graduation, which is going to go much higher into this haircut. Remember, graduation from the rules we went over a while back is that graduated haircuts only occur in the exterior of the hair and they create a triangular effect, as you can see. So that's our session for today. Graduated diagonal forward, shifted graduated haircut. Hope you enjoy.